The St. Patrick's Day edition of Weather for Weather Geeks here on this Thursday evening, March 17th. We've got a lot to talk about this evening. Winter is not done just yet. We're going to have one last gasp later on this weekend. But let's talk about the good news, and that is today it was nice and mild again. 61 this afternoon. Gusty breeze from time to time, of course, made it feel a little bit cooler, but it sure was pretty nice out there. Cooler air is starting to get involved in the pattern, though. I mean, it was only 42 today in the Twin Cities and 37 in Billings. And so as this continues, this air mass continues to come south, we're going to start to notice the changes, certainly by the weekend. All right, wind gusts in the 7 o'clock hour were still up there, 30 to 35 miles per hour across northern Ohio and into western parts of PA as well. The wind will diminish as we lose the sunlight and the atmosphere starts, or stops, I should say, the mixing process and becomes a little more stable. All right, let's look at the next 24 hours. Tomorrow morning is going to be a little chillier with a clear sky. We'll wake up in the 30s, which is still above average for March 18th, but you'll need the jacket first thing in the morning. Now, the front tomorrow looks about 6 to 8 hours slower than it did 24 hours ago, and this is good news for our Friday forecast. We've jacked up the high temperature. We've really essentially taken out the chance for precipitation tomorrow. If you remember yesterday, we were talking about maybe even a snow shower tomorrow, but hey, it's going to reach the lower 50s tomorrow afternoon. Maybe there's a sprinkle late in the day, but that is about it. And while it will be breezy tomorrow, it won't be quite as blustery and windy as it was yesterday and today. Then, as we go into the weekend, the cold front's going to slip through. I think Saturday is going to be a pretty decent-looking day. We'll have a veil of high clouds around, but it'll be noticeably chillier Saturday, kind of back to normal-ish, lower middle 40s. All right, let's talk about the big-ticket item here for Saturday night into Sunday. Now, the European model was starting to make me nervous about this a little over 24 hours ago. And wouldn't you know it, some of the other modeling, of course, has come in line with the European. The European has gotten, or I should say, it's been consistent with the ideas. But when the European locks onto something, you can almost take it to the bank. So here's our in-house RPM model showing what I think is generally a pretty good idea for Saturday night into Sunday. This is 10 o'clock Sunday morning. I'll actually rewind this just a little. No, it's not going to let me. But anyway, the snow comes in overnight Saturday night. Sunday morning, if you happen to be heading off to services early on or doing anything, it could be slick on the roads, especially the side and secondary roads. Now, first thing Sunday morning, it's going to be around 30 degrees. The ground temperature is warm, so most of the major roads, I suspect, wouldn't be too problematic. And as we get deeper into the daylight hours on Sunday, even though it may continue to snow for a decent chunk of Sunday, midday, and afternoon, it's really going to have a hard time sticking, particularly on the pavement. We're getting into the second half of March. The ground temperature is warm. Snow falling during the daylight hours with those conditions is just, it's going to have a hard time sticking. So if we're going to have road issues, I suspect it would be first thing Sunday morning with improvement for the rest of the day. This is going to turn into a big old storm up for parts of New England, though. This thing's down on the European ensemble, down below 980 millibars off the coast of Cape Cod. That's going to mean almost near blizzard conditions, perhaps, for southern New England on Sunday and into Sunday night. Here's the European ensemble mean snow forecast. So I think, 6 to 12 is pretty likely in a corridor kind of through here-ish. Back here at home, European ensemble showing a solid inch to 2, maybe even 3 east of I-79. And I think that's generally a pretty good place for our forecast to be at this point. Here's the European ensemble odds of more than an inch for the duration of this. Again, very good odds to our east, but even here locally, we're talking about probably 60 to 80% odds of at least an inch worth of snow. So it's looking pretty likely. Enough snow to cover the grass. Enough snow to have to brush off your car, maybe even shovel your sidewalk a little bit by Sunday morning and midday. For the 24-hour period ending Sunday evening, here are the odds of more than 3 inches. I think our odds are pretty low, as is shown here, of more than 3. We're talking probably on the order of 10 to 20%. I can't rule it out, especially east of I-79. But, for most of us, I kind of like what we did with our initial forecast. An inch or two, a slushy inch or two. Again, 2 inches certainly most likely on your grass, maybe on your car top. But anything paved, accumulations are probably a little less than that. It's just, it's March. The ground's warm. It's been warm lately. So the snow will have a hard time sticking on anything that is paved. We're going to add a little bit to our seasonal totals here. This, I suspect, will be close to our final numbers for the season. We're at 36 right now. If we add an inch or two, we're up to 37, 38. Far cry from last year when we were in the upper 70s for total snow. And our average up through March 17th is in the mid-50s. Our final seasonal average is close to 60 at the airport. So we're going to end up probably about 20 to 23 inches below average for the winter season. A far cry from the last couple of years. More updates on the snow situation, of course, as we go into tomorrow, as more modeling comes in, and I'll be checking in over the weekend as well, along with Jess and Andrew and Candace as well. We've got you covered on that. The warm air is going to come back next week after a chilly start to the week and a blustery day Monday. It's going to feel like February on Monday. Quick turnaround. We're talking 60 by Wednesday, probably mid-60s by Thursday. So, it's that time of the year when we get this sort of thing. It doesn't last very long, and that'll be the case this time as well. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you had a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day. I know there were a lot of happy people downtown when I was out and about earlier on, celebrating the holiday and getting ready for the concert over at the Covelli Center. I will see you back here for more Weather Geeks on my weather blog and on the Storm Tracker 21 weather app. Usually this video is online by about 8 p.m. I'll see you then.